Feel like it's been a long time since I've really had football. Well, Baker Mayfield led the Rams to a game-winning drive, and I didn't really watch much of that game. Maybe that's why. That seemed like a pretty boring game. I saw Derek Carr put up 2.5 fantasy points, something of that sort. But last week, a lot of crazy things happened. A lot of things that I thought would happen came true. Kenny Pickett proved that he can be that guy for Pittsburgh, and while he may not put up the flashiest stat lines week in, week out, they only scored 19 points. He makes clutch plays when he has to, and they're 3-1 in their last 4 games, and that only loss was, I think, to a very good Bengals team, if I'm not mistaken. Aaron Rodgers, as I said, he owns the Bears. I finally got a Packers prediction right. They put up 28 points, got a nice win. The Lions put up a 40 spot on the Jaguars. The Niners, again, proved that they can be that Super Bowl team, although are they going to be able to do it with Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant? That's an interesting question. I don't think he's going to find the same success once teams watch a little bit of clip on him, but we'll see. That could be a great story. Mr. Irrelevant Super Bowl champion. The Cowboys looked like they were going to have a close game against the Colts, and then they just went out and put up 33. It was almost like they started trying in the fourth quarter, and they won 54-19. That was insane. I went to bed when it was probably a one-score game, and they ended up winning by 35. So that's all I have from last week, and let's hop into the video. Again, another late video this week. I did find a tough time recording on that Tuesday and Wednesday slot. So, straight to the 1 o'clock games. We have Jets at Bills, and this was a thriller last time in New York. And even though Buffalo and New York, they're pretty close, I don't think we're going to see the same thing. Bills Mafia is just going to overtake the Jets here. And the Bills, I think, pick up a big, very timely win against the Jets. Next game is Browns-Bengals, and despite them winning by 13 last week, Deshaun Watson looked terrible. I made a short about that. They had 3 defensive/special teams touchdowns. I think despite allowing 14 points, they still had 31 fantasy points, which is just insane. The Bengals, on the other hand, beat the Chiefs, and while they only won by 3, that was a great win. They played amazing. Joe Burrow got Jamar Chase back, and while Jamar Chase only had probably 5, 6-ish catches, he had some big plays. T. Higgins, obviously, with the game-sealing catch. So the Bengals, they win this game at home. I don't see why there's any other reason to think otherwise. And the next game is Cowboys-Texans, and there's something crazy about this game that I'm going to get to later. But I don't need to say much about this game. Maybe one of the best teams in the league versus pretty clearly the worst team in the league, so easily Cowboys. Next game is Vikings-Lions, and in my upset of the week, I'm going to pick the Vikings. Yes, the Lions are favored in this game, which 10-2 against 5-7. I get the Lions are at home, but I feel like the experts know something sometimes when they have this. I just don't see the Vikings slipping through. But because of this, I think this is going to be a close game, as all the Vikings games are, but still give me the Vikings in a questionable line, but we'll see what happens. Next game is Jaguars-Titans, and I keep saying the Jags have looked good this year. I think that 26-point loss to the Lions kind of put a cap on that. As I say that, they're probably going to go out and win this week, but I'm going to pick the Titans. The Titans pretty much have already clinched the AFC South, That's theirs for the taking. They just need to win out and maybe find themselves moving up to that 3 seed. Next game is Eagles-Giants, and this is actually somehow a big game for the Eagles. They're 11-1, and they're still only 2 games up against the Cowboys for the NFC East. And the Cowboys have an incredibly easy schedule. I think even if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, they have great odds to win the NFC East. So I think the Eagles, like last week, pick up that needed and timely win at the Giants. Next game is Ravens at Steelers, and my guy has been Kenny Pickett. They're 3-1, but one guy that is more my guy than Kenny Pickett is Tyler Huntley, and he's starting this week for the Ravens. Now, if any of you know Tyler Huntley and you know me, you probably know why I like him. He was our starting quarterback when we were 5th in the country. We lost to Justin Herbert in the Pac-12 championship. But he seems to come out every year and have one good game, and I think that's going to be it here. He's going to use his legs. He's going to make the timely plays. It's going to be an ugly game, but I think Tyler Huntley and the Ravens get it done at the Steelers. Now to the 4 o'clock games, Chiefs at Broncos. I don't think I should have to say much about this game. The Broncos, they just can't win games. They look terrible. I mean, for any Broncos fans, they bring in Russell Wilson, championship hopes. I feel terrible for you guys. I don't know what's going on. Next game is Buccaneers-Niners, and Tom Brady has pulled off some miracles. Even though there's only a 2-game difference here, I think this may be too big of a miracle for Tom Brady to pull off. And that's crazy to say. Even maybe I've heard some people saying this. Tom Brady is ageless. Age may be catching up to him a little bit. The Bucs, they are having a pretty kind of just a mediocre year. I mean, they're 6-6. The record is as mediocre as it can get. And Tom Brady, he's putting up great stats, but they're not putting up points like they normally do. They've had some ugly wins. So I think this game, I think they're just going to ugly it up and try and win very low scoring. I don't think it's going to work. I think Brock Purdy going to pull it out in the end with all of his great weapons. Give me the Niners at home. Next game is Panthers at Seahawks. And I actually do expect this one to be a fun one to watch. I think D'Onta Foreman's going to have a good game. Obviously, no more Baker. Sam Darnold looked great last week, but he looked great in the 3 games last season, and then he just completely collapsed. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I think Darnold keeps it going here. Still not going to pick the Panthers to win this game. The Seahawks, they really need this win. They're pushing for that 7th seed, and I think the home crowd is going to know that. They're going to have that win behind their back and beat the Panthers. The Sunday night game is Dolphins-Chargers, and this, just going to say it, these are 2 of my teams, probably with the coolest colors in the league, and maybe the coolest jerseys. I love the Chargers powder blue. But on to the actual football. The Dolphins, they should win this game, and the Bills play a good opponent. The Chargers are a good opponent, but they're not as good as they were supposed to be. The Bills play a really good opponent in the Jets, and an upset definitely could happen there. If it does, or if it doesn't, the Dolphins need to win this game. In LA, it's a big game for them. This is kind of I don't want to say a prove-it game, but they just lost by 16 to Mr. Irrelevant. So they desperately need this win, and Tua needs to keep it going. I feel like this has flown by, but already on to the Monday night game, Patriots at Cardinals. And I'm actually going to go with the Cardinals to win this one at home. The Patriots are favored. They need this win to make it possibly 2 East with all 4 playoff teams in. That's crazy. AFC, maybe as of right now. No, the Bengals. So the Patriots need this win. I don't think they get it. I think Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, they pull this off. James Conner, I think, gets a touchdown or 2. Just saying. He's on my fantasy team. And I think they pull this off in the end. And now for my lines this week. I said I was going to talk about the Cowboys-Texans game later. The line is sitting right now at -17, which is insane. But I've picked against the Texans 2 straight weeks, and I think the odds makers are starting to catch on to me, which I may regret this, but give me Cowboys -17 against the 110-1 Texans. Then on Sunday night, we have Dolphins at Chargers. 3 points is not a ton to cover, and I think they win this game actually by a good bit. I think Tua rebounds a little bit. I think Ty Hill, Waddle both have big games. So give me the Dolphins to win this game by more than 3. Next game is Titans -3.5, and I pretty much fell off the Jaguar ship. It wasn't like I slowly walked off it and disembarked. I just fell off of it last week. I'm not on the Trevor Lawrence boat anymore, and he's really going to have to prove to me that he can win games with the team he has around him, at least this year. Now for my starts this week. This is going to be a Justin Fields-like start. It's not Justin Fields, but I did say this game was going to be low scoring, but I think Tyler Huntley is going to get it done on his legs. Give me Tyler Huntley. If you need options at quarterback, I know some people are getting biased this week, but playoff push. If you have maybe, I don't know, for some reason, Jimmy Garoppolo starting at quarterback, or you just don't have a very good quarterback, maybe you drafted Russ. Tyler Huntley, pick him up, start him. He's going to get it done on the ground. He gets at least a touchdown on the ground, at least a touchdown in the air. He's in my starting lineup. Next two are from the same game, and I said this was going to be an exciting game to watch, which is why I have two fantasy starts. D'Onta Foreman, I read a few great reports on him this week. He is, I think, questionable, so just monitor that a little bit. But I think he has a good game against a bit of a lackluster Seahawks run defense. And from the same game, it's going to be Geno Smith. This is going to be kind of like the Falcons game, I think, the 37-34 one. I think Geno's just going to light up the Panthers. DK, Lockett, we're not going to be able to keep up with those two. They're going to be running us around. So, like Tyler Huntley, or no, not really like Tyler Huntley. Geno is a starting fantasy quarterback. He's top 10 in the league. And he should be in your starting lineup by now. If he's not, definitely get him in. And now my sits for this week, and this is so frustrating. Travis Etienne. The Jaguars just get down in every game so quickly, and they abandon the run. I had James Robinson the last 2 years. They do it every year. Etienne will get you your 6, 7, 8 first quarter carries, and then he just falls off after that. Similar to my Dameon Pierce pick, sitting him last week, sit Travis Etienne this week. And for my next sit, J.K. Dobbins is back. But not really. This game's going to be ugly, and I think if they win this game, it is going to be because of their run game, but it's going to either be Tyler Huntley, or it's going to be a mix of Tyler Huntley and RB by committee. J.K. Dobbins, I get he's back, but still don't start him. He didn't look like that 6 yard per carry guy we saw in his first year. And the third guy is going to be Brandon Ayuk. I know they have all of their yak guys. They have George Kittle, they have Hughes, they have McCaffrey, they have Debo, which I think is going to lead, and it's not in the past, but with Purdy at quarterback, it's going to lead to a lack of touches for Ayuk, I think. So if you have better options at receiver, I think that you have to sit Ayuk down. And that's all I have for this week. Let me know what takes you agree with. Let me know which ones you disagree with, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.